Hello, and we're joined here today by 2020 USAC AMSOIL National Sprint Car Champion Brady Bacon. Brady, this trophy is yours.
Thank you.
So feel free to hoist it over your head.
Yeah.
Yeah, but how's it feel to add another one to the mantle?
Really good. This one is obviously a little different. We have a little more responsibility with the team now, so a little more gratifying than the first two, but really proud to get Hoffman their 12th and my 3rd, and it was an up and down year, so to end it on a high note was very exciting.
And talk about some of those responsibilities you have now that made it different from those last championships.
Yeah, we house the cars and everything at my shop in Union City, Ohio, and me and DJ kind of worked throughout the week on things, whereas in the other two that I won, I just kind of showed up with my helmet bag and just talked to the team about setup and stuff. But now we do it all in-house, and we took a lot of pride in the cars we built for this year, and made some changes for the tracks that we struggled at, and we performed well at those tracks, which is probably the difference to win the championship.
And it's been a few months now. As you look back on this season, what comes back as the most memorable? Some of the moments that you remember most?
Winning at Ocala, both nights was big, because in the past couple years we were terrible at Ocala. So that was huge for us, to kind of know that we had figured whatever the problem was out and we had addressed it. And then, going through, we had some times, Plymouth was big, changing the front end and getting back out. My guys did a great job with that. Winning Knoxville again was a highlight, and then just kind of not knowing when we were going to race, where we were going to race, and just kind of always being prepared for whatever the schedule was going to throw at us was pretty gratifying.
And talk about Knoxville a little bit. That's been a great place in your career in midgets and sprint cars. Won there a few times in the sprint cars. Started off like one of the first times we really heard about you on the USAC national scene was finishing runner-up in a midget back in '06. Just talk about how special Knoxville is and to you, and the Corn Belt Nationals as it's coming up this year, a big paying race, and it's got to be pretty exciting. Looking forward to that with the success you're coming in last year.
Yeah, for sure. I think we've won 3 races there now and finished second a couple times, or second 3 times with USAC in the midgets and the sprint cars. So we were always in the contention to win at Knoxville. Obviously Knoxville's special to everyone in sprint cars because of the nationals and everything, but as far as USAC success, we're one of the few that have been kind of seeing the whole story there and been able to kind of run good in multiple different cars. And like I said, it's always kind of like a second home for sprint car people to go to Knoxville. We were getting junk mail at the Hall of Fame for a while when we were staying there a lot during the 360 and 410 Nationals there for a couple years. So it's just a nice, comfortable place. We run really well there, and that's obviously the places that pay big are the places you want to run good. So we'll keep working, and hopefully we can do it again.
And you mentioned about 2020 being challenging for a lot of people, and specifically in the USAC sprint car division, like we talked about with Matt Hummel, your crew chief. Like you didn't know where we're running sometimes. You're just kind of flying by the seat of your pants. Just talk about some of the challenges that presented you as your team and a driver getting prepared for all these races.
Yeah, when everything was shut down for a while, there was a lot of anxiety, a lot of unknowns. We were promoted a race, USAC's first race back, which was stressful. And then when that went well, it just kind of started full throttle for the rest of the season. And luckily we had done all our work for Florida, so we were kind of ready and just kind of, massaged on things a little bit. So when it got busy, we were still ready and prepared and ready for pretty much anything that could be thrown at us. And we missed Eastern Storm this year, which is always a highlight of the schedule, so we're looking forward to going back there. Great fans and great tracks out there, places that we excel at typically. So excited about that, and places that I used to not like at all. Putnamville, for example, was our best track of the year. So just kind of gratifying to see all our work and strengthening our weaknesses to kind of bring the ship up as a whole. And
that's on the racetrack and off the racetrack. You mentioned about your promoting. What made you decide to jump into that? A track is obviously special to you, Port City Raceway down in Tulsa, Oklahoma. But what made you decide to get into that avenue of the sport?
I've been thinking about it and talking with Ciciano for a while, but just kind of, I knew I didn't just want to do something normal. I wanted it to be a special event, and with Mike and Megan buying the track and running it, it just kind of all fell into place. And we worked really hard to make that first one work, and we're working really hard to make the second one even bigger. and I think everyone had a good time. The racing was phenomenal. So kind of, I thought I could do it. We thought we could do it if we just worked as hard as we do at everything else, and the first one seemed to prove that. So we're hoping we can replicate that success in 2021, and then we'll also add a Silver Crown race at Winchester, which is also a special track to us. I grew up racing at Port City, but Winchester kind of changed my life. I met my wife there, and we now live in Winchester. So I think that makes it more gratifying that the places that we have these races have a special place in our life.
And obviously, on the track, there's all that adrenaline running, but having a successful event compared to winning a feature, is there any comparison, or is it just as gratifying and satisfying as each other?
It's a lot different. It's kind of more stretched out, obviously. You're working the whole night, but I don't know if I don't really think I underestimated it, but confirmed how much work it is if you really want to do it right, staying up with the racetrack. Kind of interesting to see how things at Winchester go. There's no track prep, which was kind of my number one thing at Port City, was to stay on top of that to make sure the racing was good. And Winchester kind of is what it is, and it's kind of just exciting to watch cars go around there, period. So just trying to find ways, things that I can use my time that I'm not spending on the track to make the race some more enjoyable for the fans and the competitors and everything. So we got some cool ideas, and looking forward to it. And yeah, it's a different feeling, but I can say, like, during the night at Port City, I wasn't ever kind of thinking I should be in a car. I didn't even think about that. So I'm glad I didn't try to race and promote at the same time. I think both would suffer. So that'll pretty much limit our promotional endeavors for the next few years, hopefully, because I don't really want to compete and promote it at the same time.
And USAC Silver Crown at Winchester Speedway on Sunday afternoon, May 9th. But Sunday afternoon and at Winchester back in 2008 was a special day for you there. First career USAC National Sprint Car win. And that's where it all began. And now you're in the top 10 all-time in USAC Sprint Car wins and starts. I mean, when you look at that in that way, that's pretty amazing, that what you've been able to accomplish. I mean, obviously still in the prime of your career, but you ever just look back and look at those stats and go, wow?
I never really did until we started kind of creeping up the win list, and to see the names that you're beside or have surpassed, or the ones that you're about catching up to is pretty cool. And I'm about to turn 31, so I by no means feel like I'm close to the end of my career. So I feel like I can win a lot more races, and your goals kind of change. I mean, obviously it'd be nice to be at the top of the list, but win the most championships or something like that. But I don't really look that far ahead, and just try to prepare for each season as best we can, and make any improvements we think we need to make. And working with Matt and Willie with FK Shocks has been huge here lately in our success. It's becoming a more important part of winning is your shock program. So having a good relationship with them is great. And then obviously carrying on the Hoffman name is important to me, and a lot of legacy there, and pretty proud to be their winningest driver and add so many tallies to their list.
Yep. And number 10 all-time in USAC National Sprint Car wins, by the way, at 35, tied with John Stanbro and Rich Vogler. But three-time champion now this year with Larry Dixon, Parnelli Jones, Steve Butler, Sheldon Kinzer, Robbie Stanley, Levi Jones. Got a fourth in you this year. Only two other drivers have done it, and that's Levi Jones and Steve Butler.
Yeah, I mean, I think I don't see a reason why we couldn't. We've kept our program a lot the same over the last few years, which I think's helped us to kind of fine-tune everything. When I first got back in my own car, when it was the 99, actually, after we left the 63, we were trying to, you think you have everything the same, or what you think's going to work, and then it just took a long time to find those little details that might have been different or that needed to be changed. And we've just kind of nicked away at those things and perfected everything, or tried to perfect everything, and I feel like we've gotten better and faster every year, and hopefully we'll be better and faster again.
All right, we'll find out soon down in Ocala, February 11th through 13th, Bubba Raceway Park, where you won twice last year. Congratulations, Brady, on a great season once again, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.